Hi everybody, Sonia Rollins. I'm here for the Burlington Area Chamber of Commerce BACC Talk. Welcome. I am here with Kevin Buck, who is an attorney at law, a partner at Harrington Buck. Thank you for joining us, Kevin.
Thank you for having me.
Kevin's been a member of the Chamber for many years, and we appreciate all your support with that, but I think it's really a great time to be talking to you for a number of reasons. Well, A, because you're a great guy.
Nice.
Yeah, and then the other thing is, the real estate market is really busy right now. Estate planning, as people come to the end of the year, we're in December and all of these great things. So tell the audience what you do. What kind of law do you practice at Harrington Buck?
Okay, so at Harrington Buck, we basically focus on residential real estate transactions, whether that's representing a buyer who's going to purchase, a seller looking to sell their house, or even refinance, whether they're going to get a lower rate or pull some equity out. In addition to that, we also do estate planning and a handful of litigation.
Okay, great. So we were talking about before the market just in general, and obviously I do real estate. You're in it a lot with helping sellers and buyers, and the market is crazy.
Yep.
It really is. It's crazy, and it's crazy in Burlington, but that's indicative of all the communities around us. Don't you find that?
I do. Yep.
So the biggest challenge. What do you think the biggest challenge is when a client is coming into you? What's the tough part for them? I mean, what's the part that you try to smooth over for them? Or is it, first-time home buyers versus people who are buying, on their second go-around? Is there a common thread between them? I mean, do you understand what I'm asking?
I do.
That one? Okay, go.
I do understand. So initially, it's kind of the same thing that you try to do when you go meet a client, right? You want to try to manage their expectations because they're nervous. It's one of the biggest purchases they're really going to make in their lives, and they're worried about it going smoothly, and they're worried about the loan process and all that. So right off the bat, what we try to do is contact the client and manage their expectations. Now, there's a flurry of activity at the beginning of a real estate transaction, right? We have, they've already gone through, picked the house out, they've done their walkthroughs and inspections, and now it's time for the purchase and sale agreement, okay? So what we do is that's when kind of the attorneys take over, and we negotiate on behalf of the buyer the purchase and sale agreement, and we communicate. It's like being a quarterback. We kind of put everyone on the same page, and we kind of take over and make sure everyone's doing what they need to do in a timely fashion. And hopefully we get a signed purchase and sale agreement within a week or so.
Yeah.
And then once that's done, it's kind of a lull. I always tell people that it's like a duck, right? You're not going to see anything on the surface, but be certain that underneath the surface of the water, things are going on. There's the process is underway. And then as you approach the closing date, there are certain dates that we kind of be mindful of. When you're buying, it's a mortgage contingency date. A lot of them have. We want to make sure they have their mortgage in place at that time. And if they don't, we get an extension or whatever we need to do.
Right.
But then, say, a week and a half or 2 weeks before the actual closing date, that's when they start seeing activity again. We start pulling in all the information we need and get everyone to the closing table.
Yeah,
hopefully.
and you know what? I will tell you that I've sat at a closing table with you before, and it is really, it's a nerve-wracking process for both sides of the table, right? For the sellers and the buyers. You have a gift with that, honestly, Kevin, in that you can make people relax a little bit, and just understand that I think sometimes what people have to appreciate is there's so much language in all of that paperwork they're signing, and there's a common thread there to being able to be comfortable with their attorney, just so that they can relax and know that it's been reviewed on their behalf, because there's no way a buyer or seller is going to be able to take in and read all of the things that they're signing on the day of a closing table. Would you agree with that?
It rarely happens, if ever, do I see someone read the entire package, and that's kind of what you have to do. I mean, when you're at the closing table, we're done. We're signing stuff. So I attempt to put everyone at ease on both sides of the table, hopefully.
Right.
And there are important documents in the mortgage closing package, and there are not so much important documents. And it's important to let them know the difference of the two. And if you can explain an important document and highlight it, in a few sentences or so, and have the answers ready for their questions, that puts everyone at ease, and hopefully get the signing done, and we can get them into their house.
Perfect. So let's talk about another thing that people need to be put at ease at and definitely plan on, estate planning.
Sure.
So if you could give somebody a piece of advice on estate planning, what would that be? Like the golden nugget on estate planning.
All right, so the one piece of advice I tell people is don't put it off.
Yeah.
Because, people are like, oh, we'll do it later, we'll do it later. And, as the saying goes, tomorrow never comes.
Right.
So people think that once you do a will, a trust, whatever it is, that it's permanent. You can't do anything with it, which is not true.
Right.
Even if you're a recently married couple with no kids and no assets, I mean, do you technically need something? No, but it's not difficult to put a quick will together and have you protected. Then if life events come up, whether you buy a house, whether you have children, well, then it's time to revisit that again, right? And then we can draft a new will and takes care of whatever issues or concerns you have at that point. And then further on down the road, again, when people are aging, there's also instruments we can put together to put their mind at ease and maybe protect assets they want protected and go that route.
That's eloquent of you, aging.
Thank you.
Absolutely. And, here's a part that you said that I think is important, and it ties into the real estate portion, too. We all assume that, obviously, nothing is going to happen to us, and we all hope that's the case, of course. But you find yourself sometimes in these instances where now you're up against the wall, and you really should have done something, like the Homestead Act, which covers people on a liability or covers any... You're an attorney. You tell them better than I do, but covers, any suits that may come against them in housing and stuff like that if they're being sued. Is that the right way to say it?
Yeah. So there's the Declaration of Homestead,
yes.
Mass statute. Now there's an automatic protection for 125, but if you fill out this very simple
form, right,
and pay $35 to record it, it basically protects you up to $500,000 in unsecured debt from that day forward. So it doesn't mean you can't get sued for a credit card debt or something like that, but what it does mean is that the person,
the house.
right, it protects the house. They
right.
can't come and force a sale or anything like that.
And so my dilemma comes sometimes when we're sitting there at a closing, and this, again, they kind of come hand in hand. People don't plan, or they don't think they need to plan for that, just similar to estate planning, where people don't really think they have to do it right away, but it's really quite painless to be able to sit down and go through it with you.
Yeah, and the estate planning is as well, and with the Declaration of Homestead that we were talking about, it's routinely put in every one of our purchases. So
right.
it's just another signature that day, but it's something you have for the entire time you own the property. So.
Right. I will add this. I think everybody believes they know a little bit of law, right?
Yep.
Until they really need a lawyer.
Right.
So, people always say it to me like, well, couldn't I do that online? There's all of those online things. And then, quite frankly, even real estate people say, well, couldn't I read that myself? And I think the simple answer to that is no. Can we agree on that part? I mean, I know obviously that's what you do, but I find it a lot even when I'm talking to people. There are a lot of things that you can see and do online, but there really is a value to having somebody review it on your behalf.
Yeah, absolutely, because obviously the forms online they're just forms. They don't
right.
cover everything that you might be thinking you want covered. So that's why it's kind of important, or it is important, to have an attorney or someone take a look at it, talk to you.
Yes.
Right? You can't talk to the computer screen and get feedback on what you want.
Right.
And be able to draft something that's going to protect you the way you want to be protected.
Right.
And
both.
not just, I hope I protected myself that way.
Right. So both on real estate transactions, on estate type planning,
Mm-hmm.
There's a value to having that back and forth with an attorney, and we would absolutely suggest that people do that. I mean, I know we do it on the real estate side because it's just vital. My favorite saying to say to clients is, well, you don't think you need one till you need one, and then we're up against a wall.
Right.
And that happens even when people pass away. Nobody expects to do that, obviously, so you really want to be able to protect yourself and protect your family.
Right, it's a little peace of mind. It's like insurance. Why do you need insurance? Well, you need it when you need it.
That's right. Peace of mind is a perfect thing to say. Speaking of peace of mind, we're going to take a break. We're going to go to our charitable partner. One of the charitable partners that has done great work in Burlington and the surrounding communities is Help Us. So we'll be right back after a short message from Help Us.
Thank you to the Burlington Area Chamber of Commerce for inviting Help Us to participate in the Charitable Partnership Program. My name's Robin Tyree. I'm the treasurer of Help Us, and this is Joyce Delianis, our founder. Help Us bridges the gap between need and help. There are so many people in need, but there are also so many people who want to help but don't know how, and that's where we come in. Through these efforts and with the help of our supporters, we've been able to help thousands of people over the past 7 years. $600,000 worth of hair services were provided to military and unemployed, for example. Our missions are dual track. One is to encourage and promote good and charitable deeds by groups and individuals for the purpose of helping someone in need. Our second is to create the first observation of Help Me Help Someone, celebrating a spirit of sharing during the month of May, giving help and saluting those who promote generosity and kindness. Our goals now are to challenge people during the month of May to perform an act of kindness and pay it forward. Grow the month of May scholarship fund so we're able to award 31 scholarships for each of the 31 days of May to children coming out of foster care or other children at risk. And to bring the month of May to a national level after having the month of May approved by Governor Baker as the month of celebration of kindness.
All right, everybody, we're back. Thank you to Help Us for all the great work that they do throughout the community. Fire, energy, huge. I don't know what to call Joyce Delinianis and her
Whirlwind.
crew. Whirlwind, good
Yeah.
one, and they are heartfelt, so that's great. Also, I hope you took note that the Charitable Partnership has their Black Tie Gala coming up on January 20th at the Burlington Marriott. It is not an event to be missed. This is the second annual. I know Kevin was there and one of our sponsors last year. Thank you. But it is really a great event. Again, January 20th, Burlington Marriott. Save the date for that. Tickets will be going on sale soon, and that benefits the Burlington Charitable Foundation for the Chamber of Commerce. Now, speaking of charity, you happen to be one of the most benevolent members we have. I mean, you really, every time we think about people coming in and stepping in when we need help, Harrington Buck is right there. So all kidding aside, thank you for that. Right. But let's talk about some of the things you've worked on. And I think the coolest one is probably one that you did most recently, which was a Best Buddies ride. Yes?
Yeah, I did do it. Yeah, last
You
year.
did it.
Yep.
Okay, so tell the viewers how many. It was a bike ride. How many miles?
Well, they have options, but somehow the option that was, I'll say, chosen for me was the 100 miles ride.
Were you a biker?
No.
Yep.
No.
Okay, so that was very good.
No, I actually purchased the bike that was used at Cycle Loft here in Burlington.
Yeah.
Probably 2 or 3 months before the ride began. Yep.
Yep, that was dedication. Good for you.
Yeah, and within that training period, I also had a planned vacation to Scotland, which I didn't bring the bike there as a golf trip, so that kind of cut into my training time for it.
But you did it.
Well, it got done. If you were down in Hyannis 9 hours and 45 minutes or 8 hours and 45 minutes after the race started, you would have seen me cross. And you would have heard the wonderful gentleman at the finish line ask me if there was any people behind me. To which I gathered what little breath I had left, and I said, maybe 2.
Maybe 2.
And so we did it. It got done, and it was a great day. It was obviously a great organization to support.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that Team Harrington Buck could do it. I'm sure most of the team finished before me. But
Well, you want to know what? It's not about who finishes first, Kevin.
it's who finishes last?
No, it's who finishes.
Oh, okay, because I was
It's all-
close to finishing last.
Doesn't matter. But were you last?
No.
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 No, you were not.
Well,
So,
I kicked the bike over the woman I passed, so she had some problems.
what was the hardest part about training for that? Seriously.
It's actually, the bike is a clip-in bike. So the last bike I rode was, the Huffy down the street that had,
With the basket.
yeah, with the
right,
basket or the
yeah.
number. And so the idea of clip-on shoes and stuff like that took a while to get used to, because they tell you you're going to fall, right? Without a doubt, you're going to fall, because you're going to come to a stop and forget that you have these clip-on shoes, and you're just going to topple over. And I did that a number of times.
I
Yeah,
see.
so
Well, what are you supposed to do?
unclip as you are stopping.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh,
but when you forget and your bike just stopped,
you just fall.
yeah, it's just a teeter right over, right?
So you went from where to where? You ended in Hyannis, you said.
Yep, and we started in Boston, right by the JFK.
It's
flag.
unbelievable.
Yeah.
It's a huge accomplishment for
Well,
you,
thank
actually.
yeah.
And Best Buddies is a great program.
Mm-hmm.
It really is. And then, so I hate to harp on it, but I ran a 10-mile race once,
Mm-hmm.
maybe twice. I did it twice. But up until the point that I'd done 10 miles, I had never run 10 miles. You know what I mean? I had run like, 3.
Sure.
And someone said to me, well, if you can run 3, you can run 6. I don't know why I transferred that into 10, but I did.
Okay.
So what made you do biking? Or was it like, what made you do that?
It was, I'll be truthful, it was
Yes.
actually the brainchild or the thought of Jim Harrington, my
Yeah.
partner there, who thought it'd be a good idea to get me on a bike and have Team Harrington Buck participate in the Best Buddies
I love it.
challenge. So
Yeah.
it was him, it was all him. It didn't enter my head before that to get on a bike at this age and try to ride 100 miles.
But it must have felt great when you were done.
When it was done, yeah.
Yeah.
Sure, it felt great when it was done.
And it's nice to be able to raise money. And seriously, you've done a lot for a lot of different charities, not just Best Buddies, but a lot of charities within the community. And I think that's critical. We talk about it a lot, how we do business in Burlington and surrounding towns, and it's nice to be able to give back. You know?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, for all that Burlington and the surrounding towns has given me personally and my firm,
Yeah.
you have to give back to it. I
Right.
mean, it's no good just to take. You
Yeah.
got to give back, and I think it's important to help out where you can help out.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think, and I think it's a twofold. You obviously people see you and your business, but it feels good.
Right.
Yeah.
Feels
Feels good when you don't topple off the bike, but when you get off the bike and you're done for the 100 miles, it's
Right.
awesome.
And you hand the bike off to someone and really don't care if you ever see it again. That's a good feeling too.
You'll pick something else next time.
Something else, right.
Something else next time. All right, and let's talk a little bit about you personally. I know you don't live in Burlington, but you live locally.
Yep. Live
You
up in
have
Andover.
a daughter,
I do. 9-year-old Colby.
9-year-old,
Yep.
and your wife, of course, is with you. And so 9, she's in
4th grade.
4th grade.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it's good to be a litigator when you have a 4th grader with you, right?
Yeah, I mean, I was lucky enough to spend a lot of time with her.
Yeah.
Because my schedules can be fairly flexible.
Yeah.
So it's good, but she has picked up some of my less endearing traits, and I see them reflected right back at me.
Right. Well, that's why I said it's good to be a litigator. You guys can negotiate. 'Cause
Yes.
4th grade is
Yeah.
a negotiating age.
Yeah, and that's basically how we spend a lot of our time when we're discussing the amount of chocolates she can have or snacks before dinner she can have.
I love it.
We start high and we whittle our way down.
There you go. It's perfect.
Yeah.
All right. So let's recap a little bit because we're almost out of time. Harrington Buck, Kevin Buck, a partner there. He does great charitable work for the community, very invested in Burlington and the surrounding towns. Real estate, all aspects of real estate. I definitely want to say that for you. So whether you are selling or buying, or for the mortgage brokers out there, whether they are looking for someone to do closings for them, your firm does that.
That's right.
Your firm also does estate planning for people that's either in the early stages or as they progress throughout their lives and need some alterations to their wills. You could certainly help them with that
Absolutely.
as well.
Yeah.
I always say to people the best part about working with attorneys like yourself is that you can pick up the phone and get to you. It's really not. It's not difficult to be able to have a conversation with someone and see if you can help them out with something. So for the viewing audience, Kevin Buck, Harrington Buck, a member of the Chamber for multiple years, we thank you so much for that. And we are going to be right back one more time. We are going to step away for our foodie segment. How do you feel about food, Kevin?
I love it.
I love it too.
Absolutely love it.
I love it too.
Need
And
it.
Katie and I have the worst job in the world, but someone's got to do it. We keep going out to restaurants and checking them out. We'll be right back after this, as soon as you see this foodie segment from one of our chamber members. All right, we're in the back kitchen of Lundana on Cambridge Street in Burlington, one of Burlington's favorites. We've been very fortunate to have this restaurant here, and it is a favorite for a lot of Burlington residents and, quite frankly, outside of Burlington. I'm here with Executive Chef Jeff Howe, who is going to show us a few great things that, one of only a few great things that Lundana's makes. But Chef, I know you are making pork belly as a recipe or as an appetizer. Is that right?
We actually do quite a bit with it. We use it on our iceberg salad. We use it with our game hen as bacon. and we just serve it simply as an appetizer.
You know, I know you were telling me before that you put the rub on it, correct?
So I actually have a splice rub here. We mix up at a time, and then I rub the bellies for about a week. Let them sit for about a week.
And then that way, so you're really always a week ahead with
Yes.
the meat that's going in. And let me ask you while you're rubbing, because this is always interesting to me. If you were going to pick something to eat here, what's your favorite thing?
I love it.
You love pork belly. That's why I was saying, right?
Yeah. Pick this one, yeah.
Yeah.
Our steaks and our grill is pretty much the showcase of the restaurant. So anything that goes on the grill, or our pastas too, are all fresh homemade pastas.
So technically, Londona's is considered. I know steak and fish are obviously both mainstays here. Is it considered a Tuscan Italian style? Is it really that's just the motif of the restaurant? If you were going to label the restaurant as something,
Definitely the style of the restaurant is Tuscan style. Everything we do, like the wood, raw, natural, simple, very simply cooked kind of items. But we always like to do things as best as we can. We try to put as much into everything that we can.
you know that the saying is you learn something new every day, and as many times as I've been to Londana, I never realized that the honey that you have here on a lot of their different meals and on a lot of their appetizers is made here. There are beehives up on the roof of Londana's, and it supplies, if I remember correctly, 500 gallons? Did I say that right? From 2 years ago and 200 gallons last year?
Yeah, we
Is
got
that
quite
right,
a bit at the last year's harvest, yeah.
Unbelievable.
200 pounds.
Yeah, so I don't know if you can see this, but there are honeycombs that are taken off the roof. Chef's going to show us how he digs into that, for lack of a better term. There's some great appetizers and meals that are done here.
Well, actually,
Rolling?
Pearl,
Okay.
it's kind of like the first slice of a cake, you know?
Right, exactly. Oh my God, that's unbelievable.
Yeah, there you go.
Crazy good. Yeah, that's crazy good. We are working on the pork belly, which you're going to do an appetizer with, Chef, is that right?
So this is our appetizer style pork belly. This is the finished product. It's been sitting for about a week. I just sliced it in half. We're gonna grill it. And then I have a nice honey caramel. It's basically our honey that I caramelized, add a little butter to it, so it's a carameled honey with a little black pepper. We'll glaze it and throw it in the oven.
Wonderful. So that actually stays on it until it goes to the table.
Yes. So on our menu it does state that it's smoked to order, so that's our smoke.
That is just the coolest thing. That's a beautiful presentation. All right, so that's the pork belly appetizer on the menu.
Yes.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us. Londana's executive chef, Jeff Howe. If you haven't been here, you should be. You are missing out on huge things if you don't come. We are in the dining room of Londana's, which, as I said, is one of my favorite restaurants, Cambridge Street in Burlington. If you haven't been here, you really should. We have the pleasure of being here with Hoshang Dadras, who is the general manager. Hoshang, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
Absolutely. So tell me something, because, I've been here, but for people who haven't come in, when they're driving by and they're seeing it, when you think Londana's, what do you want to present to Burlington and really outside of Burlington?
The first thing, what we're known for, a lot of you know, it's the wood fire,
Yes.
the wood grill. As soon as guests walk in, the first thing they smell is, where's the fireplace? And we always tell them, no, it's actually a grill.
Right.
We do all of our steaks and seafood there, so that's what we're best known for. We try to be self-sustaining, and that's another thing that we pride ourselves in. One of our best possessions, in my opinion, is our hives upstairs.
Yeah,
that a lot
tell
of people
everybody
don't
about
know
the
about.
hives. Yeah.
It started off with our company engineer, Andres Morelos, who has been a beekeeper for over 20 years. And once he started with our company, he saw an opportunity on the roof, flat roof, a perfect space for it, and maybe we can show it to you guys later.
Absolutely.
He came up with the idea, and the owners loved it, so they decided to start with 2 hives. But it became such a good project for him that he kept adding every year. 2 years ago, we had our most successful harvest of about 500 pounds of honey, which we use on everything. And you guys saw the ricotta,
Yeah.
you saw the pork belly, and chef comes up with some really good specials in the summer and fall with it, and we have some cocktails that have the honey with it as well.
It's really very unique because I don't think if you came into a restaurant like this, you'd never imagine that there's bees above your head. I'll say beef is above
Exactly.
your head. So Monday nights, Dollar Oyster. I should say that for everybody who's watching. If you haven't been here, it's at the bar. Landana's opens at 5:30, 5 o'clock at the bar, and on Monday nights it's Dollar Oyster night. But it's gained momentum.
It has actually. A year and a half ago, February of 2016, we started doing the Dollar Oysters. Just a way for us to, Mondays are horrible days anyways to begin with. Everyone
Right.
hates Mondays.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit of a token for people to come out, an incentive to enjoy a drink or two and enjoy oysters. We never thought it would be that successful. I was taken aback by it, week after week. The staff's loving it now, and it
Yeah.
drives in different crowds that just love oysters. If you're an oyster fan, I personally am,
Yes, me too.
and that's part of the reason I pushed for it.
Yeah.
But it's the same oysters that we serve on the menu the rest of the week. We have our own fishmonger, so they bring it fresh every day. So it's been very successful, and we try to keep it a little bit, fresh, but it usually is the New England oysters. It's from,
Absolutely.
Standish, Pemaquid, and
How many oysters on a Monday night?
we've
roughly?
done about 600 oysters.
And I've eaten 500. No. You know what I find really intriguing about the oyster night is it allows people an opportunity maybe to come into the restaurant on a more relaxed
Yes.
basis. They're coming into the bar area, which is beautiful here.
Yeah.
And I think that's almost like the best kept secret. I almost hate to tell people, but I will for you. It's the best kept secret of Burlington, that Dollar Oyster Night allows you an opportunity to be at the bar, to enjoy the oysters, to enjoy great drinks. You have some of the best staff around, quite frankly. So
Thank you.
they, between the warmth that you feel from people who are serving you and then the food that's being served, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
They can have a full dinner there as well, correct?
Yes. We also have a bar menu that we offer small, finger foods, I would say,
Yeah.
that people take advantage of. But for the most part, like you said, not everyone wants to go for a fine dining, full-on service. So it's good to have options like that at the bar, in the patio, in the summertime, where you can just go and unwind, and you don't have to worry about 3-course meal or a nice bottle of wine. You just want to go in, quick martini, some oysters, and some, obviously, maybe a bar fonduta, which is my personal favorite.
Oh, fonduta, that's
Yeah.
a good one, yeah.
So
I don't want to forget to tell people that you are available for private functions as well. I think if you come in and see the restaurant the way it's set up, you maybe wouldn't think that you're available to do private functions, but you hold weddings, hair showers.
yes, so we, the way this restaurant was set up, we specialize in private events and weddings. This year alone, we have about 16 weddings. Basically, we close for a la carte service. We do a whole function.
Yeah.
We do bar mitzvahs, corporate events. Our private dining room itself seats about 70 guests. So it's we are well equipped to transform the entire building into
Into-
whatever the bride and groom want, or the occasion asks for.
Yeah.
So it's a very versatile restaurant in a sense.
Right.
You can change it to whatever you'd like,
Sure.
or whatever your vision is for the
Sure.
night.
Talk to me about your pastry chef,
Suzanne.
Suzanne. Is she our Ciambella girl?
She is.
Okay.
Yes.
So, tell me about her, because
I'm
she
glad
comes
you
in.
brought her up.
Yeah.
Yes. Every summer she does honey gelato from our honeybees, and that is my I've never had any gelato better
Really?
than that. It's there's no extra sugar. It's all honey.
Yeah.
But what she does is incredible. And add to that the Ciambella, which is a crowd pleaser.
I've had a few of those too.
It's awesome.
It is awesome. It is. And the panna cotta, is that
Yes,
her?
the
Yeah.
panna cotta is our signature dish. I don't think it'll ever be off the menu because people just
Love it.
love it.
This is what I think is really unique about Landana's. I mean this sincerely. everything is done here, right? So
Yes.
everything is made here. So when you're here, you really feel like it's been made for you.
Yes.
And you know, you might come in another time and something else is there that you've always liked, and it's back or it's made for you again. I mean, it really, you get that sense that the meal was made specifically for you.
Exactly. Yeah, we have certain guests that call in the summer. They ask for our cauliflower.
Could be me. I tried to pitch it to the chef a little while ago. You know, we'll see. So if you were going to have dinner here, what would you order?
It's the same every
Yeah.
time. I am a pasta person. Like, even though we're known for our steaks, but we also make our own homemade pasta. So
Yes.
everything is fresh. To start with, definitely oysters.
Yeah.
I love our tuna tartare. Then I just jump right into a half pasta maybe.
Yeah.
Rigatoni bolognese, which is our signature dish. And then maybe a side of broccoli rabe.
Nice.
And for dessert, obviously, either the crostata or the panna cotta. Which,
Beautiful.
Yeah.
As I said earlier, if I worked here, I'd be 700 pounds. So luckily, I just come once a week, maybe twice sometimes, but it's all good. All right. We are with Hoshang Dadras from Landana's. It's on Cambridge Street in Burlington. If you have not been here, you are absolutely missing out, and you should come. Opens at 5 every day.
Bar opens at
Bar
5.
opens at 5. Dining room at 5:30. Casual for the bar if you just want to come and get a quick thing, or if you are looking to do a really special dinner, this is your place. For BACC Talk, I'm Sonia Rollins. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. You need to say something. All right. I mean, isn't it unbelievable the kind of food that's in Burlington?
Oh yeah, no, great restaurants.
Unbelievable. We are beyond fortunate in this community for the type of restaurants we have. It's kind of crazy, actually.
Yeah,
Well, and it's crazy but good.
it's really
Like, yeah, I don't want to give it up.
good. Really good.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us again. Kevin Buck, Harrington Buck, please think of him and his firm when you are in need of legal services. And Kevin, thanks so much for being here.
No, thank you for having me.
Awesome. All right, folks, happy holidays to you. I hope you are enjoying the holiday season. And for BACC Talk, I am Sonia Rollins.